Thanks so much for listening to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman. I bring you all the LGBTQ plus news, and today is Sunday, October the 19th. My first story is Trump Commutes sentence of George Santos in federal fraud case. In a shocking political twist, Donald Trump has commuted the 87-month prison sentence of ex-Congressman George Santos, ordering his immediate release. Santos has been serving just over 7 years in federal prison for wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and campaign finance violations, after admitting to stealing donor identities and defrauding 11 people. His fall from grace followed months of scandal and a rare exclusion from Congress, one of only 6 in U.S. history. Trump's announcement came via Truth Social account where he wrote, "I just signed the release for George Santos from prison immediately." The decision follows mounting pressure from hard-right allies like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who called Santos' sentence political persecution. Federal prosecutors, however, had urged the judge to impose the full term, citing Santos' lack of remorse and systematic deception. While Trump's commutation ends his prison time, Santos' conviction and restitution obligations remain intact, while he may still owe thousands to defrauded donors. That was reported by the Associated Press and CNN. Okay, let's just back up and talk about this for 1 second. President Trump announced this over his social media platform. It is so backwards what is happening in this country. It's like a bad dream. And the high court rules in favor of trans man's gender recognition. In a landmark victory for trans rights, the UK High Court has ruled that a trans man cannot be denied legal gender recognition simply because he is trying to conceive. The case centered around a man known only as W, who had been refused a gender recognition certificate earlier this year after a government panel claimed that his attempt to conceive meant he was not living as a man. The High Court called the panel's decision fatally flawed, and the judge personally intervened to grant W his certificate, a highly unusual move. The ruling emphasized that the Gender Recognition Act must facilitate, not obstruct, gender recognition, and that forcing trans people to choose between family and identity would dismantle and fracture who they are. W celebrated the decision, saying, "I feel safe and protected. I feel this helps other trans people in my position." The case was supported by the Good Law Project, whose trans rights lead, Jesse O. Thompson, hailed the decision as a huge human rights victory at a time when things have felt particularly dark. This marked the Good Project's third major win for trans community, following recent cases against discriminatory employment and housing practices, reported by the BBC. Our next story is the Pentagon slams Netflix over queer Marine series. The Pentagon is taking aim at Netflix series Boots, a coming-of-age dramedy about a closeted gay teen who joins the Marines in the 1990s. Adapted from George Cope's white memoir, The Pink Marine, the series stars Miles Heiser as an 18-year-old Cameron Cope who enlists alongside his best friend during a Don't Ask, Don't Tell era, when gay people were banned from openly serving in the U.S. military. While the show has been praised by queer audiences for its humor and humanity, a Pentagon spokesperson reportedly told Entertainment Weekly that the series was woke garbage that misrepresented the Marine Corps. LGBTQ plus advocates, however, argue that the backlash reveals how little progress has been made since the 1990s. Former service members say Boots portrays an all-too-real experience of isolation and resilience under a discriminatory system, reported by the Daily Beast. I'm just going to tell you the show is really good. It's cute. And I'm in episode 5, and I'm really happy with it. So support it and support the LGBTQ community. Our next story is LGBTQ plus youth mental health worsens amid hostile legislation. A new Trevor Project study paints a sobering picture of rising mental health distress among LGBTQIA plus youth across the United States. Between 2023 and 2025, researchers tracked over 1,600 participants aged 13 to 24, finding significant increases in anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation, with trans and non-binary youth most affected. Anxiety symptoms climbed from 57% to 68%, depression from 48% to 54%, and suicidal thoughts from 41% to 47%. However, the data also highlights a path forward. LGBTQ plus youth live in affirming homes had 37% lower odds of suicidal ideation, and those with strong family support saw reductions of over 60%. Exposure to conversion therapy also worsened outcomes dramatically, with reported threats nearly doubling since 2023. Experts say the findings underscore how anti-LGBTQ laws, from book bans to gender care restrictions, are directly harming the nation's most vulnerable young people, reported by the Trevor Project. Next, we go to Norway, where the Church in Norway issues historic apology to the LGBTQ plus community. The Church of Norway has issued a heartfelt apology to LGBTQ plus people for decades of discrimination and exclusion. Presiding Bishop, I'm going to say this name so wrong, Olva Fisk Tveit, delivered the statement from the London pub in Oslo, the same venue targeted in a 2022 Pride shooting that killed 2 people and injured more than 20. He acknowledged the church's past actions and alienated queer people, saying, "We failed to stand up for you when you needed us most." The apology marks a powerful turning point in a country long known for progressive social policy, but slower to reform church doctrine. Human rights advocates say it's a reminder that faith and inclusion can coexist, and that spiritual institutions have a role to play in healing historic wounds. Reported by Reuters. Nice to see. Next story is Virginia GOP candidates' supporters double down on anti-LGBTQ plus hate. Supporters for Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, who's running for governor, have released a new campaign ad doubling down on anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric. The ad attacks her opponent for supporting trans rights in schools, echoing Earl Sears' long history of opposition to marriage equality and workplace protections. During a recent debate, she said she doesn't believe firing someone for being gay qualifies as discrimination, comments that have often drawn national condemnation. LGBTQ plus advocates warn the campaign's tone could further embolden hate crimes and discrimination across the state, reported by The Advocate. And our last story is Vermont senator resigns over racist group chat. So Vermont State Senator Samuel Douglas, a Republican from the Orleans County, has resigned following the revelations that he participated in the racist group chat with local political allies. In a written statement, Douglas said his resignation, effective Monday, was made to protect his family safer after days of backlash and public protests. Screenshots from the chat revealed Douglas and others sharing racially derogatory jokes and conspiracy theories, leading to bipartisan calls for his removal. His departure leaves a vacancy in Vermont's narrowly divided state legislature, reported by the Associated Press. This is the group chat that was released where there was lots of N-words being said by people, lots of anti-Semitic remarks being said, and this is the one where J.D. Vance said, "Oh, they're just kids," even though some of them are only a few years younger than J.D. Vance himself. So I think this guy did the right thing by resigning, because nobody needs that type of person representing anyone in the United States. Thanks for listening.